Accessing library computer data. Accessing. Command codes verified. Transfer complete.
The Vaadwaur are a humanoid civilization native to the Delta Quadrant. The appearance of the Vaadwaur is very distinct. Their skin color comes in the same broad range of complexions found in humans, and the ridges in their faces give them very sharp features. They have small ridges on their chin and 2 horizontal ridges just above their nose. A large fin-like crest runs across the center of their foreheads and gets wider as it reaches the top of their skulls. Their hair grows from around the mid-region of their skull, just where their fin ridge seems to end. The history of the Vaadwaur is long but fragmented past, with a mixture of war and exploration. Vaadwaur fleets were aided by their discovery of a network of subspace corridors that spanned much of the Delta Quadrant. It took the Vaadwaur centuries to map the corridors. Dubbing them Underspace, the Vaadwaur were quick to claim the network and began using them to further expand their empire. With the help of subspace corridors, the primitive Vaadwaur fleets could cross the quadrant in months instead of decades, and strike undefended worlds at their leisure. However, to ensure their secrecy, the Vaadwaur never kept written records of the corridors, instead committing them to memory. For nearly 900 years, the Vaadwaur Empire would rule a large section of the Delta Quadrant through the use of subspace corridors, their battle fleets appearing seemingly out of nowhere and destroying unprepared alien fleets and colonies with ease, soon followed by ground invasion and occupation of the planet. The Vaadwaur were cruel taskmasters, treating all peoples they subjugated as third-class citizens within their own lands, using them as slaves and sources of free labor. At their height, the Empire included more than 1,000 worlds and stretched as far as Talax and Borg space, controlling all in between. The Vaadwaur were also seen as the envy of hundreds of species across the Delta Quadrant. Their population of this time was about 6 billion. Eventually, in the year 1484, the Vaadwaur subjects rose up against them. A subject race, the Toray, led an alliance to attack the Vaadwaur, decimating their home world and reducing it to an irradiated wasteland with orbital bombardments. However, not all the Vaadwaur were killed, including several hundred members of a single battalion who managed to survive in stasis pods. The plan was for the battalion to awaken in 5 years and then find a new world to start over and rebuild their empire. However, the stasis controls were damaged during the bombardment of their homeworld, leaving the battalion stranded in suspended animation. Following the Vaadwaur's apparent annihilation, their subspace corridors were claimed by the Toray. The Vaadwaur then became fables among the various species of the Delta Quadrant. Their name, in the old Talaxian tongue, became the word for foolish, weak-minded, reckless, and blind, particularly when allowing themselves to be deceived by an enemy. In the year 2376, the Federation starship USS Voyager discovered the Vaadwaur's home world. During explorations of the devastated planet, Voyager's astrometrics officer, 7 of 9, awakened one of the Vaadwaur soldiers in stasis, a young officer named Gendrin. Persuaded by Gendrin that they would be helping a peaceful civilization to rebuild, Voyager's crew revived nearly 600 Vaadwaur troops before Neelix uncovered the Vaadwaur's true history. Voyager's alliance with the Vaadwaur was broken when the Vaadwaur commander Gall launched an attack on Voyager. Voyager barely escaped while the Vaadwaur and the Toray resumed their nearly millennia-old conflict. Realizing that today was not the day to reclaim their lost homeworld, that reawakened Vaadwaur took 53 of their vessels and used the subspace corridors to flee the battle, and attempt to find a new world where they could rebuild in the hope of one day reclaiming their former glory. By 2410, the Supremacy had been reborn. Using the underspace corridors and surprisingly powerful ships, the Vaadwaur launched a full-scale invasion across the Delta Quadrant and overthrew several major factions, such as the Krenim Imperium and the Bomar Sovereignty. After many long months of conflict, it was discovered by Delta Alliance operatives that all of the Vaadwaur Supremacy leadership were infected with neural parasites. Once exposed, this caused a civil war to break out between Vaadwaur forces, effectively ending their reign of terror in the Delta Quadrant.